Creating remakes of successful foreign films is something that has been done for decades. But why do we do this? Why not just stick with the original? Are subtitles really that intimidating? And what do you miss out on when not watching the original? Let's find out. When Hollywood tries to make the next great movie, production companies often look at what has worked in the past. This includes popular books, plays, video games, and looking abroad for successful movies. Once they find a movie that worked well in another country, they buy the movie rights and try to adapt it for a new audience. But adapting foreign films does come with some hiccups. It's just not possible to take a story and place it in a different city or country. A lot of what the original story had to tell just can't be translated due to cultural differences. A certain movie can have a huge impact in its home country due to the theme and message it has baked in within the story. And you often strip that away when moving the story to a different arena. You lose so much of what the story really wants to say.
You got something you wanna ask me?
Take the movie Downhill as an example, which is a remake of the Swedish film Force Majeure. In the original, the director Ruben Östlund plays more on a dark and subtle marital crisis, playing on what masculinity is and how a woman loses confidence in her husband. The remake, however, plays more on a broader spectrum of comedy, where the woman realizes that her husband is more of a doofus. The remake tries to play more on the strengths that the actors have than on the theme itself that is delivered in Ruben Östlund's original.
We didn't see any of that.
Well,
film critic Roger Ebert sums up a similar situation by comparing a French wave of remakes, saying that there's a trend in which Hollywood buys French comedies and experiments on them to see if they can be made into English with all the humor taken out. You take something that's original and want to prove a point, but drain the essence that is needed for that point to be delivered. Foreign movies tend to have a more philosophical theme, or ambiguous psychological situations, where the remake gets a more watered-down version, where the main character just has one single mission. In Ghost in the Shell, this can be seen very clearly. In the movie from 1995, focus lies more on complexities of human consciousness. It asks existential questions, such as, are you no longer human if you don't have a human body? Or can consciousness only be unique? But the remake barely touches on any of that, and instead focuses on the action sequences. It has become a light or diet version of Ghost in the Shell.
We are robots, we are robots, we are robots!
Adapting movies from different countries is something that has been done for a long time. It's even possible to see how certain genres or movies from certain regions have been adapted in waves. In the 1930s, we had German films getting an American remake. In the early 2000s, we had a boom of Japanese horror movies that got adapted. And these past years, we've seen a wave of Nordic noir movies getting an adaptation. As long as something is getting hyped, be it a genre or specific country, Hollywood is there to see what can be transferred to their domain.
BMW. Jag tvärvände och gick hem. Nu hade Rune gett upp för evigt.
Vadå? Man kan väl inte köra Volvo hela livet?
But the US is not the only country that has done this. There's an Italian Groundhog Day, a Russian 12 Angry Men, and let's not forget all the unlicensed remakes that were made in the Middle East and Southeast Asia during the 70s and 80s. But the US, or the English-speaking market, is so much bigger and has an impact on the rest of the world, because these movies will eventually end up in different countries as well, even in the country where the original movie comes from. And this makes us have a tunnel vision when it comes to cultural influences. Sure, watching a Korean movie might not evoke the same feeling in someone from Italy, since we might not share what we find funny or obnoxious. But if we would allow ourselves to see the original, we would be able to expand our point of view and knowledge about not only cinema, but other cultures as well.
See, that's what I want to talk to you about.
Streaming services have managed to take local to a global arena. We no longer have to find an obscure cinema that only shows foreign films during the day. No, these films are now available to us in our home 24/7. And streaming platforms such as Netflix have turned TV series such as Dark and Squid Game, among others, into international successes. And foreign films only seem to grow and grow. It's estimated that half of the European content on Netflix and Amazon could be in non-English language by 2030. The barrier of finding foreign films isn't there anymore, nor is the barrier of subtitles, since many of these productions offer a dubbed version as well, something that many countries already have done for years.
Ich komme wieder.
Granted, many of the remakes are truly amazing and can stand on their own merit, but we still lose pieces of heaven when not allowing ourselves to look beyond our comfort zone. Foreign films have inspired the biggest giants of cinema, and without that inspiration, we might not ever have gotten the amazing movies that they later managed to create, because we can still see those seeds of inspiration within those movies. And to end this video, I would like to borrow the words of Bong Joon-ho. Once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. Oh, and one more thing. Original cast members returning for the remake.
Please.
That's your dad.